Welcome to Bacon Shorts by Bacon Sports. I'm Rob Cressy. This is episode 14. My hashtag random athlete of the day is former Mets future star Greg Jeffries. Celebrating a birthday today on October 19th is Evander Holyfield, who starred in one of my favorite This Is SportsCenter commercials with Charlie Steiner. Steiner, come out and get your whooping. Also celebrating a birthday today is some Cleveland love. We got Browns wide receiver Webster Slaughter, as well as Cavs power forward Brad Daugherty. And as you can see here, I captured this jersey picture outside of Chai Fest. And speaking of Chai Fest, shout out to some KCCO Gold Lager, of which I drank this weekend. Pick yourself up, some of you see it. It is delicious and makes me sing like Carl Lewis. Hold on, I'll make up for it. Happy birthday to former British Open champion Louis Oosthuizen, as well as Joe Jellybean Bryant, a.k.a. Kobe Bryant's dad. Joe Jellybean Bryant was selected by the Warriors in the first round of the 1975 NBA draft. He averaged 8 points, 4 boards, and 1.7 assists over 8 years in the league. Here's the fastest recap of the football weekend that was. Let's start with the NFL. The Steelers beat the Cardinals. The Steelers have currently turned the ball over 0 times since Big Ben has gotten injured in 3 games. That's with Michael Vick and Landry Jones at quarterback. If you own CJ2K, I would sell him in fantasy football. He's 30 years old and Andre Ellington is back, and I expect a decline. Up next, we got Patriots beat the Colts. I was thinking about how the Colts could have actually had a worse play than the fake punt that they did. And what I came up with is they would have had to line everybody up on one side of the long snapper and actually have no one behind the long snapper at all and just have that guy snap it 20 yards back. And then the goal is for one of the Colts players on the right side to run back, get that ball, and somehow turn that into a first down. That's how bad that play was. Certainly flag it, tag it worthy. Panthers beat the Seahawks. What's all impressive is how Cam Newton is doing this with virtually no offensive help other than Greg Olsen. Ted Ginn, Philly Brown, I mean, come on. Currently, I think Cam Newton has fewer yards passing per game than Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jameis Winston. And how about that Pete Carroll going to USC chatter I'm starting to hear? Packers beat the Chargers. Actually, the Chargers just lost another game on the goal line. And what in the world is going on with Eddie Lacy right now? Fantasy football owners are furious, and I know lots of them be flagging him after last week's performance. Bills lose to the Bengals. Andy Dalton is second in the NFL in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and currently has a 14-2 touchdown to interception ratio. The Bills' injuries on the offensive side are just atrocious this year. Hope they can get better. Broncos beat the Browns. Josh McCown's interception at the end of the fourth quarter as the Browns were driving to kick the game-winning field goal was one of the worst that I have ever seen. The difference between end of his career Brett Favre and end of his career Peyton Manning is that Peyton Manning's team is currently 6-0. Lions beat the Bears. No one backs Matthew Stafford into a corner and gets away with it. It was nice to see Alshon Jeffrey on the field, made an immediate impact. Vikings beat the Chiefs in a snooze fest. Congratulations on the win to the Vikings, but Teddy Bridgewater is really a pretty broke Alex Smith at this point. He's currently 31st in the NFL in passing yards a game and is going to need to improve a lot if the Vikings think they're going to win a playoff game. And did I miss something where Niall Davis was no longer the handcuff to Jamal Charles? Wasn't he the best running back backup in all of NFL? 5 carries for 13 yards. 49ers beat the Ravens. The 49ers currently have the same record as the Seahawks. Each of the Ravens' 5 losses have come by 6 points or less. Dolphins beat the Titans. Welcome back to fantasy relevance, Lamar Miller. Texans beat the Jaguars. DeAndre Hopkins is now one of the top 5 wide receivers in football, and that's with some below-average quarterbacks throwing him the ball. All right, let's head to college football. Ohio State beats Penn State. Ezekiel Elliott has 100 yards rushing in every game so far this season, and I like Ohio State better with J.T. Barrett under center. Christian Sackenberg only completed 7 passes against Ohio State. Remember all that he was going to be the first quarterback taken in the NFL draft talk? Baylor beat West Virginia. Look for Seth Russell, Baylor's quarterback, to start getting some Heisman buzz. And right now, I am calling for him to win the title. If Baylor continues to win, he's going to be putting up PlayStation numbers, and this is the highest profile Baylor team they have ever had. Clemson beat Boston College. Congratulations to Clemson on this win, because this is exactly the type of win that Clemson would lose. A game where no one expects them to lose to Boston College. Congrats on the victory. LSU beat Florida. Leonard Fournette is currently averaging 8 yards per carry, which is insane. LSU still has to play Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M, and that fake field goal to win the game is why Les Miles is so awesome to root for. Michigan State, Michigan. That botched punt at the end of the game is the worst thing to happen to Michigan sports since Lions head coach Marty Mornhinweg won the coin toss in overtime and took the wind. Alabama, Texas A&M, Alabama wins. Isn't it fun to predict that Alabama is going to get their second loss? In their last 2 big games against top 10 SEC teams on the road, Alabama has won by an average of 23 points. Memphis, Ole Miss. How in the world did Ole Miss go up 14-0 and then give up 31 unanswered points to Memphis? So long to Ole Miss's chances as hoping to get a national title. And by the way, shout out to Penny Hardaway, who went to Memphis State. Notre Dame beats USC. It'll be interesting to see what happens if Notre Dame runs the table and has 1 loss, and Clemson somehow loses 1, and at the end of the season, they both have 1 loss. Iowa beats Northwestern. Northwestern lost their 2nd game in a row by a combined 68 points. And shout out to hashtag random athlete, former Iowa center, A.C. Earl. Oklahoma beats Kansas State 55-0. That's how you bounce back. But like Renee and Mallrats said, Shannon Doherty's character, too little, too late. I thought you said it was a good size. And that was the fastest football recap of the weekend. As always, I want you guys to be a part of this. Hit me up on all social media outlets at Bacon Sports. Boom shakalaka.